The moment when you start a live stream and completely lose your phone. I mean, that's just hilarious. Well done, Cash. Hi, everyone, and welcome back to Cash Talks Football, where you were immediately starting a live broadcast and then panicking because you can't find your phone and you haven't checked it for half an hour. It's kind of hilarious. But welcome back, everybody. We're going to go over a couple of topics today. A lot of it will be games from the weekend, but I also want to talk about this Premier League boring stuff because I've been talking about this for quite a while now, and it seems like other people are starting to pick up on it. I was talking about it last season, if you remember, and there just wasn't many good games to watch. Like, yeah, I can't remember any good football games that I've actually seen over the last I don't know, maybe 2 years or so. It's just been boring, and we're all it doesn't matter which team it is, it doesn't matter what sort of thing we've been who we've been following. There just isn't that many good, exciting games in the Premier League, and I want to address that because I think I've come up to a couple of reasons why, and a couple of things that people aren't really talking about when they're addressing these situations. But yeah, let's just do some stuff from behind the scenes so we can have what we call a live stream, boys and girls. And that's us ready to go. Yes, excellente. Ooh, I also want to talk a little bit about the upcoming, because I think all three teams have got a chance of staying up this season that have come up into the Premier League. I genuinely do. I think there's a massive chance that these teams that have come up this season will stay up, and there's a couple of reasons for that. But hello, buddy. Thought you weren't going. I'm always going to go live. I was honestly because I can barely walk. I went to go grab a little bottle of water to sip, and it's just taking me forever to walk back and forth. That's all that's happened. It's just shocking, absolutely shocking behaviour. It's taken me that long to get backwards and forwards, but it's done now, and I'm here. Yes. Trying to figure out some rubbish on my phone. That's what happens when you lose your phone before a live broadcast, and then you can't find stuff that you're supposed to have already had on here. Yeah, well done. That's not very useful for me, but there we go. That'll be perfect. Yeah, I think this everyone's missing the point on the why the Premier League is boring, and there's so much to talk about and sort of discuss when you're talking about how bad the Premier League is currently. Because let's be honest, it is. It's an awful watch. We had supposedly great games this weekend. Just look at it: Arsenal versus Manchester City, and Chelsea versus Manchester United. And you're not going back and rewatching either of those games because they're just atrocious. That's supposed to be the pinnacle of the Premier League. Why the nonsense that everyone prattles on? The Premier League is the best league in the world. I can remember when I used to say this, especially when I was abroad coaching and stuff, and you kind of sort of brag a little bit because, you're English, the Premier League's the best in the world, and everyone would just slate you and say, well, it's just not, is it? If it was the best in the world, they'd win the Champions League every year, and they don't. And then they go on through how many times Real Madrid and Barcelona have won it over in the last 20 years or so, and trash the English teams and trash how bad the Premier League is. But you don't sort of really think about it because, you're doing your day-to-day stuff. But this weekend, I thought one of these games here would be a great watch, and both of them were a complete and utter disaster. Now, you can talk about, okay, got to keep a sent off in the first 5 minutes. Maybe that's a little bit of problematic for the Chelsea Manchester United game. But I think it's more to it than that. The Premier League was the best in the world about 6 years ago. I'd agree. Like, you would always, it's funny, like even when Klopp was at Dortmund, or you were always interested in watching those games. And like when Beckham was at Real Madrid, you'd always end up watching those Real Madrid games because they were exciting. You never knew what was going to happen. There was chances, there was skills. When was the last time you saw a bit of skill in the Premier League? Like genuinely a trick, a piece of skill, not just to go past someone and then stop and then pass the ball, a skill to create something and smack, have a go at the goal. It doesn't happen. When I was a kid, there was a thing called Showboat on Soccer AM, and Joe Cole was on there all of the time. until they ruined Joe Cole's career by taking him out of centre midfield. The amount of great skills that people had. Cash money in the bank. Yes, buddy, I'm here. Hello to you. Lazy. Too lazy. Love you, buddy. Well, it's funny because you don't see these individual skills. And I think it's this major component because it also ties into Ange Postecoglou getting back in the Premier League, because his teams were entertaining to watch last season. You weren't sure if Spurs were going to win or they were going to lose, but you would watch them because they were entertaining. And it is this thing that no one's even addressed or even figured out yet. I'm going to tell you what it is and why the Premier League is so boring. Managers. Oh, okay, Cash. Well, we thought that was obvious. No, it's not just that simple. It's not the simple fact that, as I always say, they can't coach, which they can't, all right? And I want to break onto that a little bit more as well, the pragmatic stuff about why they can't coach and how to fix that. But there's an underlying root that I wasn't sort of paying attention to, which I missed. They're going to get fired. The turnover in the Premier League for managers now is so fast and so vast. Everyone's playing shut-up football and not willing to do anything, or they're all closed in because, well, they don't want to get the sack. And then all the players feel it, and then all the players are playing that way because, well, they don't want to lose. And it's so strange, and you can see it when the more and more sort of teams you look around, and you realise there's so many teams. Evening, buddy, how are you? There's so many teams out there now where if you go down the list, right? Let's just talk about the games on the weekend. Arsenal, Manchester City, Manchester United, and Chelsea. Okay. Out of those two games, two of these teams here, Arsenal and Manchester United, everyone is talking about sacking the manager. Okay? Hello, buddy. Yeah, you're here for a change. Yeah. So that wasn't really the case. So if you think about this, Manchester United have gone into that game to play Chelsea, and Arsenal have gone into the game against Manchester City. And then the narrative in the media is Arteta could get fired. Well, not really, but there's more whisperings than there normally would be. And the same about Ruben Amorim. And you're wondering about the brand of football. And these managers, see, there's this thing about why players play for managers. And it's not really addressed because, of course, the mainstream media don't know anything about it. And the pundits don't know anything about it because they don't know anything about football. The reason players play for a manager is because the manager isn't going anywhere, and if you don't do what he says, you're going to be out the frickin' door. That's not the case in the Premier League. The players have all the power. The players will get rid of the manager. Sometimes, like at Manchester United, I think they've got rid of 4 or maybe 5 managers certain players have. So the players don't give a monkeys about the manager. So because the manager can get fired at any moment, the players don't do what they're told. Hence, we're getting bad football. And it's on this cascading effect. It's getting worse and worse all the time. And no one's really sort of addressing it. They're going, oh, it's too much football. It's too much this. Yeah, there's some of that. There might be a little bit too much football. But it all comes down to, and because I'm going to talk about Arteta, his terrible managerial decisions this weekend. And it goes down to that as well. It's all the same sort of thing. If we don't think that that's playing in Arteta's head, that if he doesn't win this game and he's not challenging or trying to win the title this season, he's going to get fired. And that's why he's bringing Saka off the bench at halftime and he's starting Saliba. It is. That's why he's making these silly decisions. Not only that he's a terrible manager, but this underlined thing in the Premier League that there's always a countdown clock of when the manager's going to get fired. So think about it. You're a player. You're on a 4-year contract. Do you give a crap when you know you're going to outlast the manager? You're just going to play your football. You're still going to get paid your monies. Do you really care? You're not really going to worry about making top 4 or doing whatever because you're just a whatever. Right? There isn't any incentive there. As long as you're playing, you're getting your money, you're happy. But the moment that you're not playing because the manager's got the power, now you want to play football because there's a World Cup coming up and I want to play in the World Cup, so now I want to get on the field. So now you're trying hard to get on the field. But none of that is in the Premier League anymore because all the players will just go, oh, sack the manager. Well, every club will do it. The only one that probably won't is Unai Emery. It's Aston Villa. Pretty much everyone else is like, even Pep. I think this is his last season of football at Manchester City. But even people have talked about, oh, If he goes on a bad run this season, do we replace him at Christmas? Ludicrous decision, but they're still having that conversation. And you would never have heard that a couple of years ago. It just wouldn't happen. Actually, that's wrong. What were we saying about 6 years ago in the Premier League? That's what I'm really talking about. About 6 years ago, the mainline discussion in the Premier League every single week wasn't which manager are we firing. It is now. The only safe managers at the moment, Glasner, Arteta. I don't think Arteta's safe. Guardiola, Slot, Mascherano. I really don't think Arteta's safe at all. And I think pretty much everyone's up for grabs. Unai Emery, I think, is great. He'll be sacked soon. Yeah, but here's the thing with Unai Emery. I think, because I want to talk about Unai Emery because he is a classic thing of what happened with Jurgen Klopp, okay? Guardiola ain't getting the sack. No chances. Yeah, I agree with you. But people are having that conversation. It's like, what? That wouldn't ever have been... Imagine that when Alex Ferguson was having a bad run for a year or so. No one ever talked about firing Ferguson or Wenger. Was never even a question. It was like... you wouldn't even hear a whisper of it. But now we're hearing it. And you're like, what? And I mean, people were shouting Arteta out last year. You wouldn't have heard that if that was Wenger. He would just be allowed to get on with football and coach football. But he's constantly looking over his shoulder. And he's not in a bad position. Some of the, I think Emery's in a bad spot at Villa, right? Because when Klopp, retired and basically said, I'm done, I've got no energy left. I know exactly how he feels. Because I've done a lot in football. And I came to the point where not only my body can't take it standing on the field. Like I can't stand and walk to the kitchen to get a drink of water. So it's very, very difficult. As a Forest fan, please sack Ange. See, I'm going to come on to Ange because I was on your Forest fan TV talking about Ange last night with your Nottingham Forest boys. And when I came off, I had a thought, and I didn't think about it. Ange might not be a bad thing for Forest, and I'll tell you now before I forget. Ange was ridiculed at Spurs, and he got absolutely battered in the media. Okay. Don't think that he might not be on a revenge tour. Don't think that he might be changing his system, doing anything that he can to prove all of those naysayers wrong and absolutely batter the people this season and go, right, you think I can't change my tactics and do this? Some of me goes, I know the arrogance in managers of their ego, that their system's always right. But there's a little bit of me, but thinking about Ange, it'll go, you know what? He might actually pull this together and do this properly because he might actually want to prove everyone wrong. Oh, Thomas Frank. Yeah. Remember when Real Madrid sacked 2 managers in the season? 6. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I believe he got him because he's a yes man as well. 100%. Yeah. I don't necessarily disagree with that. We were talking about that last night on the Nottingham Forest stream. When it reaches the end of the road, Klopp was in identity. Well, it's not just that. It's this energy thing that football does. You can see it with Pep. Pep should have gone. He's got no energy left. He can't change again and go again because he's got no reserves left. It takes a lot out of you. And I think that's why, going back to the Unai Emery discussion, I think that's where Unai Emery is. And what would have gave him that extra energy was getting some reinforcements in and some actual people in. He's got nothing left to give. He's looking around the locker room. He's doing what he can and he's got no energy there. It's like, I'm out. I can't do anything. You haven't given me enough people. And they don't necessarily have to be good people. They don't have to be better players. They just have to be players that he can refresh the squad up and change a couple of things. But Nuno is one manager when. I'm not sure if I agree with you with Conte and but 100% he's a yes man with the owner. Marinakis, see, here was the other thing. Like, the amount of discussions that we put in as football fans about owners and all this other... It's insane. It's insane nowadays. Absolutely insane. At no point do we ever come in and go, right, let's talk about how wonderful bit of skill so and so. Tell me a great piece of skill we saw this weekend. A highlight video. A goal that we were going, oh, that's goal of the week. Goal of the week? We don't even goal of the month anymore. It's like goal of the season. There was goal of the season contenders every week. There's no goal of the season contenders. Like all footballs just seem to have gone. It's just absolutely been wafted away, and the Premier League is becoming more and more boring. My friend Brian, remember Premiership games from the US, $1 a month, and it shares the Premiership partnership in the US. Questions for later. Dude, yeah. Put any questions you want. Actually, as well, I don't know if you know, in the Patreon we've got a chat room in the Patreon, and you can access Discord from there now as well. Because me and DC were in there chatting the other night, weren't we, DC? So you can do that. Because I'm probably going to jump on to Discord later on after this as well. So if you want to have a chat with me in person, you can always go over to our Discord channel. But I'm going to start making topics in there as well. So, well, you guys can. If you anything you want to talk about, stick it down. I just wanted to start getting this on the more on the record, because I've been talking about it for weeks. About there's so many boring games in the Premier League, and I can't remember when I watched a good game of football. Can't remember when I scored a good goal that's scored. Unai Emery, unless they're willing to sit in relegation at Christmas. Yeah, it's too late for Villa. I think they messed around. They sold the wrong striker. They've done too many things. They've just too many wrong things. I don't. The only thing I'll do is I'll give him a shout out, because his channel is not as big as mine. He's only got 2.4 million viewers. Goldbridge. I'll stick on Goldbridge, and I'll have him talking, and I'll maybe have on another screen, and I'll be chatting away. Sorry, listening chat away. Hey, Cashy Cash is also a good storyteller. Oh, I'm a good storyteller. Yeah, DC. We have fun, DC, don't we? Yeah. It's funny, is because when DC was saying, because when he's talking to me and we're actually chatting, he goes, "You're not really like who you are on camera." I was like, I hate being on camera. I freaking hate it. And I'm not the same. Like, yeah, my personality doesn't come across well on camera. Oh, sorry, I'm trying to do two things at once here. I like watching Goldbridge whenever United get. That's why I started watching Goldbridge when United were getting beaten. But I'm telling you, right, he's not good. He's not bad. I'd say 65% of his takes are decent. Maybe 70, depending on the team. And that's 100% better than anything on mainstream. And I'd rather listen to him talk about can he beat a polar bear with a samurai sword than Gary Neville trying to tell me that this right back just is absolutely amazing and he's rubbish. He's absolutely rubbish. So, and it does, one of the interesting things which big fan communities like that do, and like you guys do as well, it gives you a barometer of what's really going on in football. Because every one of you will have a different opinion than me. And we can see if our opinions are all matching up before we start chatting, well, that means something's going on in football. If we're all not watching the games because it's boring, it's too expensive, there's so many options, you should check out Serie A teams. Juventus have just got 2 great games. Yeah. Oh, you missed the Tiger Woods story, my friend. So if I'm in Discord later, I might retell it. So I told the Tiger Woods story, and I wasn't going to tell anyone. I cut the Tiger Woods story off the live stream. So only the people that were there for that live stream last week got to listen to my Uncle Tiger story. And if you don't know why he's Uncle Tiger, you won't know that Tiger Woods knows who the cash is. So Arsenal Fan TV is a gem. The only issue I don't like with Arsenal Fan TV is I don't want to hear shouting matches. I don't want to hear children arguing. Couldn't care less. No, not interested. Oh no, yeah, the exclusive Tiger Woods story. Well, most of my mates, like in real life, know anyway. I mean, they all know about who I really am and what my past is like and all that stuff anyway. But yeah. The only issue is though, that's an old. I don't like because he's the godfather of certain people, and I don't like dragging them into it all. And that whole relationship, that's an old dead relationship, and I've moved on, so it's not fair. I can bring that back in. Can't remember his name, but there's an older bloke who's a United fan, and he analyses the sort of plays and talks a lot of the sense, not like it. Oh, Matt, don't worry. If you catch me in Discord later, I'll explain it all. Like John knows, like John from the Patreon. He knows some of my background. We were chatting because he's from the South. He's from Atlanta. Well, no, he's Tennessee actually, isn't he? He knows. He knows. Yeah, fan TV is unwatchable. Sure. Yeah, 100%. I agree. 100% fan TVs. That's the reason why I don't mind a Gold Bridge. I used to watch a bit of the kickoff back in the day. The first sort of YouTuber I was ever I didn't watch YouTube. Didn't know anything. It was True Geordie. Not word of a lie. It was the first one I ever saw when I was coaching in China. It was the first. Like, I hadn't watched YouTube ever in my life. It was True Geordie, and I liked his honest takes. And I liked it when he was wrong. He would say he was wrong. He's morphed into something completely different now, but still like and respect the guy. I think he's decent. But sometimes things get too big and people can't control them, and then stuff happens. But it's important though, because if you don't listen to these people, like I don't really listen to any of these people, and then you stick on Talk Nonsense and some of these Sky channels, the amount of utter rubbish they speak about teams is insane. Yeah, I saw the United hair guy was attacked at Old Trafford. I saw that on Twitter. Yeah, some idiot. Yeah, hopefully that idiot will get banned and I'll teach him a lesson. But it goes back to, like, I still go down to this. So one of the main reasons why I know there's more to this, football is boring thing. If you haven't watched my video when I talk about 10-year talent cycles, if you've seen those videos when it's normally there's like a big white thumbnail when I'm zooming in and out a load of text and little stuff I've done. I'm talking about the 10-year talent cycles, right, in football. Are you a City fan after coaching them? That coaching with them, not because you can't. Well, I don't know, it's really weird with Man City. That contract was really weird. Yeah. There's some legalities going there. Well, and Man City as well, like they didn't do anything that I didn't already do. Genuinely, going through their coaching qualifications and accreditations, I was just like, they were shocked because I just knew what I was doing anyway, because it's how I would set up and do things anyway. Didn't make any difference to me. They were shocked because most people just follow what they do in the FA qualifications, which is rubbish. Oh, yeah, I think, James, I think you're probably the only. Didn't you go to the Palace game? Did you go to Palace Sunderland? Oh, mate, if I was responsible for those infractions, that'd be hilarious. That's definitely why I'm not becoming a lawyer right now. That's 100% why I'm not in law school. It's not. Yeah, it's not showboating. It's different. Yeah, I'll go to Bromley. No. Yeah. You went to Palace Sunderland because I want to review that game. I've not done that game yet because I've just been not been able to walk and in so much pain. I've not got round to all of these games to do yet. Yeah, it's just not there. And where I live, there's no real. You can't really get to a Premier League club. It just doesn't exist. It's too far away. Everything's just too far away from where I live. Was Luton short? And the other problem I have as well is it's very, very hard for me to watch football like in person, because if I'm not coaching it, I don't give a crap. And if I'm not coaching it, I'm gonna start coaching it, and I'll be yelling at the field, "Look at that right back! He's out of shape. Look at him! Get back 5 yards, tuck in." And I can't do it. It's very difficult for me. No, I don't think I did the Palace Sunderland game, did I? I don't think I have. I don't know. I have to double check. Yeah, I don't think I've done the Palace Sunderland game, buddy. I really don't. Oh, you didn't go to that game. Oh, okay. Sorry. I got the games mixed up. Okay. No. All good, James. All good. So anyway, let's get back to this a little bit, because Manchester United against Chelsea was, to me, it was a horrifically boring affair. Like, you're against 10 men in the rain. If I was Man United, I'd be shooting from outside the box every which way you can, smash the ball at the goal. No one really tested the goalkeeper often. No one really did anything important. Like, the game was dull. It was completely boring. Do you support a team, Cash? I was asked that on the Nottingham Forest stream yesterday. I don't. Here's the problem when you tell people you support a team. Everyone thinks you're biased. So let's just say, for instance, I'm a Man United fan. Anything critical then I do about Liverpool, everyone thinks I'm saying it because I'm a Man United fan. If I'm a Tottenham fan, anything critical I say about Spurs, they think it's because I'm an Arsenal fan, or vice versa. Oh, you're an Arsenal fan, of course you hate United. You know, can't have any of that. And it all skews your biases as well. You start like honing in and saying, oh, but my team is better because they're top of the Premier League and they're still terrible at football. Like, Liverpool are playing bad football and they're top of the Premier League. You know, there isn't a team in the Premier League now that I'm quite happy on. One of the reasons why I'm having this conversation is because I want to find a team I want to watch. I just want to watch a team for some fun and go, oh, they're good. I don't know if they're going to win or lose, and I can enjoy the game. There just isn't. It's so annoying. And if you go to this, sorry, we're on this game here. If we're talking about Manchester United and Chelsea, the quality of football with a level of supposed players, I could have played at that pace in that rate. Well, not now because I can't walk, but there isn't anything there. The only real thing is you're seeing is pace and athleticism. There isn't any sort of skill involved. There isn't anyone, like I said. And I couldn't. Well, there's so many things that the managers did wrong in these games. Watch the Palace in 17. See, that's why I want to do the Palace review and Sunderland. I think Sunderland might be a decent watch. I think Nottingham Forest under Ange might be a good watch. I might enjoy watching the game. Because I'm telling you, like, there used to be a time when, I don't know about you, if Arsenal were playing, I was watching it with, when Metzelozic just first came on into the Arsenal team, and they were just fun to watch. And there was Barcelona with Messi, and they were fun to watch. You wouldn't miss these games. If you didn't see it live, you would re-watch it later, even though you knew the score because the game was good. Or, Manchester United, they were always good to watch. None of this is good to watch. It's not an entertainment at all. Bruno is one of the most overrated, thank you, but saying it forever, overrated players I've seen. And yeah, he's absolutely awful. So there's this thing in football as well, right, where there's so much money in football. Oh, yeah. 100%. So Bruno Fernandes, the reason why he's so, well, not only just so toxic, there's lots that goes on. So my best example that I can give to people that they'll be able to understand is Wayne Rooney. Wayne Rooney was playing for England 5 years longer than he should have been, or in a different position, which they wouldn't have played him in. Okay? He was so bad for England, but they kept picking him for the England squad. And the reason they were picking him was because Umbro sponsored England, and Umbro sponsored Wayne Rooney. That's why. It was a contractual agreement. And they'll say, oh, it wasn't on paper. Yeah, we know it wasn't on paper, but you said we're going to sponsor the England team and give them this much money as long as you play Wayne Rooney all the time because he's our poster boy. That happens in football without people knowing about it. So why doesn't Fernandes get subbed off? Find out who sponsors his boots. Is it the same shirt sponsor? And that's all it's about. Winning and losing games, not interested. It's Notts County. It was bad. But fun. It doesn't have to be good. Like, it needs to be fun. It needs to be enjoyable for me to watch. The club does give fuck attention to fans. They were giving away shirts. Oh, I love it when they give away shirts and kits. Oh yeah. Oh my God. Do you want to hear a horrific story in China? I'm going to give you giving shirts away to kids. I'm going to give you an horrific story. Okay, let me time clip it because I might cut it out. Where are we right now? Okay, we're 30 minutes in exactly. Okay, this is how bad it is in China. Okay, last good Prem season. Yeah, maybe 2020, maybe a season before. Oh, 100%. Yeah. It's all he's there for. Fernandez is just there for shirt sales, and media hype him up all the time. If they told the truth, he'd have been lost his contract years ago. Okay, the FA loves a yes man as well. Yeah, they had Gareth Southgate in the England team for how long? Yeah. Oh, I didn't even get to the rest of the comment. Yeah. So, we're Man City, right? We're in China. Because we're paid, right? The Chinese people I work for are giving away Manchester United shirts to school kids. Okay. So we have to do a photo shoot. Of course, this is me. You're not getting me in a photo shoot. I don't care how much you're all trying to do this. So we have all these kids come in, and they're all so happy they've been given Manchester United. First off, we're looking around at all the Manchester City branding and all the stuff, and we're going like, how is this allowed? Like how are we now partnership with Chevrolet and their new deals and doing these Manchester United shirts for a photo prom in China? This doesn't make any sense. Like, we're a Man City facility. What is going on? Like, this is madness. So all these kids get their little kits on, and they're all happy for their free uniforms. So their faces are all lit up, and they're all good, and we all go out, and they all play little footballs, and all these little 12 and I don't know. I think the youngest is maybe about 6, and they've got all these photos of all these smiley kids because they've just been given a free uniform, free Manchester United uniform, and they're getting all the pictures. And they come in and they say, take the kit off. It's not free. They only told them it was free to make them all smile for the photo shoot. As soon as it was over, they took all the kits off them and said, get out. China. I was horrified. I was just like, I'll pay for them all. Like, I don't have that much money, but I've got enough money to buy these shirts for these kids. Like, they were like, no. Like, I was just like, oh my God. Yeah. Guess why I didn't stay in China for very long. Yeah. But that was madness. I can't believe that happened. Oh, boom. Let's get back onto football instead of me talking about China reasons. Oh, I've got so many China stories. I came to the field once and they'd built a house on the field overnight because there was a wedding. True story. It's like I gave up trying to understand stuff. I came up with my own saying. I called it China reasons. Why's that happened? China reasons. It's just a house in the middle of the football field. Yeah, that's just the thing. Yeah, free United kit. No, it's not free. That's mate. Like honestly, you've got like little 6-year-old kids that are screaming and crying and they don't understand why. Like, but you just told me it was free. You've just told me for 45 minutes when I'm running around it's free and I get to keep the socks and I'm loving it and all that. And then you say, "No, take it off." It's like, what? Like, oof. There's so much stuff that happened in China. Like, I played one game. I was coaching one game for the semi-pros teams, and they were trying to make it out that we had to play without goalkeepers because some new Chinese rule. Like, the amount of nonsense that I had to deal with over in that place was unbelievable. Unbelievable. I'm building a house. Oh my God. Yeah. Here's the funny thing. Came back 2 days later, and it had all gone. They just had a wedding in this house, in this field, in this football field, in this stadium. Like, I'm in Beijing. I'm in the city. There's a huge there's a massive stadium. I mean, there's an Olympic. I'm on like next to this massive Olympic-sized stadium. I mean, we've got state-of-the-art facilities all around us. It's just a field. Put a house in it now. Like, oh, where are we training? Oh, use one of the other fields down the way. Why? There's a house on your field. Oh, all right. What? Oh yeah. By the way, everything in China is not what it seems. Nothing in China works. Absolutely nothing. If China tell you they've got robots, they don't. It's a man in a robot suit. There's nothing in anywhere in China. Nothing works. Do not believe a single word they say. I'm telling you now, it is the most propagandized country. I listen to what China's factories are doing this. I'm like, no, they're not. Chinese factories are probably flooded right now. Like that's probably what's happening, or someone set them on fire. I mean, it was so bad in China, right? They don't have telegraph poles through Beijing. All their wires are in the trees. And when it rains, all the electricity in Beijing cuts out. Not all of it, but most of it, depending on how heavy the rain is. Just cuts out. Gone. China. It's like it's insane, and everyone thinks it's like this. It's anything like the West. It's nothing like the West. It is an absolute hellhole. China. The sewers don't work because they didn't put in any sort of underground sewers anywhere. I'll see if I can bring them up on my phone. I was there. It was at this place I used to get this chicken. It was brilliant, and because the sewer has a grate, but there isn't a drain. There's nowhere for the water to go. It's just a grate, so it looks like one. And it all congregates there, and it's about up to my waist height. And by the time I've gone in to get some food, there's like a lake, and I have to walk through this lake to get back to my apartment building. Insane China. Yeah, it's the other stuff as well. You can drown. Like, they've got their supermarkets, equivalent of their Walmart. It's underground. Like, so you can get stuck in there and it can get flooded. Like, you'll walk in there when it's raining and all the water will be flooded on the floor in the supermarket. You're like, madness. Oh, they hate foreigners. Oh, it's me. I'm like, straight away. Okay, so do you already want to, let's see if you actually understand who Cash is now. So within about the first 2, maybe 3 nights of me going out in China, I met like a bunch of the mafia guys, and I was taken down to all the mafia bars and all those places. They looked after Cash. Yeah. My friend Leo, absolute brilliant. He wanted to move, get out of the West. Yeah, chatted with him a lot. If you understand what I've just said, you'll understand. Yeah, people didn't really mess with me. Like, the Chinese people just, it was kind of good fun. But they did at work, though. It was funny at work because that's one of the main reasons I left. It's because with Man City got really sort of annoyed with everybody because they wanted me to do certain things. And then when they let me do them, the Chinese government would only have me do these coaching courses because they saw what a real coach was. And then that upset everybody in our company because they were making so much money from it. And they go, no, we only want this guy here. And then when there was, so many internal politics in China, I had 4 bosses. It was mad, absolute madness. And then you got actually technically 5 because Man City on the, with Adam and Steve and that. Yeah, there's all sorts of stuff going on there. But let's get back onto why the Premier League's boring and not Cass talking about stories when he lived in China, because we can be talking all day about that. And there's certain things that I might not want to say live on stream. But also the Arsenal Manchester City game, I think it was absolutely awful. That explains why Chinese people act differently when they come. Oh yeah. They absolutely, I mean, they hate foreigners. Yeah, especially in your country. They absolutely hate it. And as well, because of course I couldn't speak Chinese, but I could understand what they were saying, and I'd call them up on it when they were saying horrible things about me behind my back. So they didn't know whether or not I could speak Chinese, and I was playing. So they were very wary around me as well, because I knew a couple of the words. So it was funny. And I'd just play games with them. And even if they weren't talking about me, I'd say that they were talking about me to put them all defensive. It was great fun. Yeah, let's get back on topic. We could do Cash story time. I was going to do this at the end of every stream, like last 10 minutes, Cash story time. Ask me a question and I'll go on a little rant about something, about where a random place I lived or a random story with Sketchy Nate or something, because I've got millions of stuff. But the Arsenal Man City game, I was really looking forward to that game. I thought that was going to be a very entertaining battle, 2 teams going at each other, and it was just completely and utterly useless. There wasn't a good single bit of play. The only play, I don't know if you saw my breakdown, was one defender stepped up too quickly for Arsenal and Man City went down and scored. Last 5 minutes, Man City decided not to pressure the ball but play a high line, play Ange ball, and they went over the top and they scored. There was no football in that game. There was nothing entertaining in that game. It was just rubbish to watch. And these teams are supposed to be winning the Premier League this year, both of them. Excuse me. I honestly think if the media could give Arteta a Premier League, they would have already given it to him. Oh, please let him win the Premier League. We think he's the best. I genuinely think they would. Who cares about percentage? Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. Pep wasn't really parking the bus though. I just don't think that his play. Oh, Potter's going to go. Yeah, Matt Potter's going to go. 100% Potter's going to go. Oh, that's why I put West Ham up here. I want to talk about that. Let's just finish off this, and then we're going to get onto a bit of Potter and stuff. There's this thing in football where you don't have confidence, where you can't get your team out and get up the lines to do what things you want to do. So you end up dropping back and back and back, and you think you're parking the bus. You're not. You just got no confidence. And you've got to look at how many changes are in that Man City's team. It's not the same old Man City team. They don't have that much confidence. So parking the bus, it's not really a plan. That's not what they were doing. They were pushed back. And that's one of the things that where people don't really sort of give Arsenal credit for pushing Man City back. They weren't planning to defend their 18-yard box. They were just pushed back to it. And even then, Arsenal didn't do anything to break it through. Inside of a month. Okay, let's get on a bit of Potter then. I don't care about percentage. I know Pep. Oh, God, yeah. Pep, fucking hell. God, yeah, he'll care about it. Oh, my God. Yeah. One day, I won't get into those stories. There's too much paperwork involved if I get into those stories. Yeah, Potter's gone inside a month. I think he'll be gone. Probably he might be gone in the international breaks. If they lose their next game, I think he'll be gone in the international break. Don't be surprised if Unai Emery leaves and goes to West Ham. That wouldn't surprise me. I think he'll settle too. That's right. So I mentioned this on a couple of my reviews, and you can see this media bias. And I mentioned it last. I was talking to DC about it, wasn't I, DC? We're talking about Florian Wirtz for Liverpool being a flop. And I said, what did Ryan Gravenberch do for the first year that he was at Liverpool? Absolutely nothing. Because he's in centre midfield. And a centre midfielder settling into the Premier League is completely different than any other, like a striker or a winger or doing whatever. Winger's doing his job. Centre midfield is a different animal. Different animal. It's going to take him a long time to settle in and get ready. But you can see that the media bias against Florian Wirtz is insane. They did the same against Darwin Núñez. He scored some goals. Like Núñez, I think, got over 10 goals and a couple of assists. I think he got 12 and a couple of assists. I mean, he was starting to come good. But the media just hound on people. And it's amazing how it changes. The body language of Potter is dreadful. Arteta is... Yeah, okay, so Graham Potter is another guy that I don't think can coach football. He comes from Brighton, right? So, you know who you are. I know you're not listening because you're working, and Brighton's still working at Brighton, still coaching at Brighton. When you're in that sort of system, the system is what's making him a good coach. He's not doing it, okay? So you've seen that time and time again. Nuno is too wise to go to West Ham. Yeah, well, I think West Ham could go down. I think there's some real issues at West Ham. Their fans are not happy. Upton Park was a horrible place to go. This new stadium's rubbish. But Potter, right? He went to Chelsea and he couldn't coach at Chelsea because he didn't coach really at Brighton. All he did is manage the pieces and he was given them because the system dictated what was happening. The system inside of Brighton is very, very good. The recruitment. Look at how many players they sell to Chelsea, pretty much Chelsea and Liverpool, really, isn't it? But he didn't have to. It was already taken care of for him. He was just there inside of this machine. When you take him out of a machine and he's just in a club and he has to do everything himself, he can't do it. And that's one of the big problems I think Potter has. West Ham are going down. Look, honestly, I think West Ham and Wolves can go down. Like, genuinely. I think Sunderland, like Leeds, I think some of these Championship teams, I don't think they're better than last year's. I just think the Premier League has got so bad that these teams now from the Championship, that gap is not there, that everybody claims is there. It's not there. I'll tell you why, because I watch the football and I see it on the weekend. Sunderland can compete with pretty much everybody. Leeds can compete with just about everybody. So it's like a lot of these other teams can't. West Ham went away. One of the worst stadiums ever been to. West Ham's awful. Absolutely awful. Yeah. And they don't own the stadium. That's the worst part. I mean, I've heard rumours that he wants 800 million for the football club where he doesn't own his own stadium. Not going to happen. Won't get 70 million for West Ham. Won't happen. It's madness. Absolute madness. You've got like the brand isn't there. If it was Upton Park, you could probably get 400. Well, yeah, maybe 500 million for it. But no Upton Park. No, no. I feel sorry for the Hammers as well. Hammers, Tony Carr was one of the first good coaching books I got. I actually think it's got like Rio Ferdinand and Joe Cole and stuff in some of the pictures, or like the under 14s in the pictures. Yeah, Cash is old. Cash is very old. Yeah, in the book. Yeah, it's quite funny. I still use some of those drills to this day. They're some of the most easiest drills you can. Oh, brilliant, absolute brilliant stuff to get your team playing. West Ham, Burnley, and Wolves to go down. I'm not sure about Burnley. I'm not 100%. Like, they're hard to score on. I'm not sure. I think Leeds and Sunderland got the better chance to stay up. I wonder what the dressing room is like at Man City, because Pep can be vicious. Actually, that's a very good point. I forgot to talk about that. Very good point. They lie about attendance figures. Do they? Ooh, that's interesting. I can smell a good lawsuit. Oh, I can smell a good lawsuit. Ooh, especially if you're inflating your figures. Yeah, but they did win the Conference League, and they weren't happy with the manager, and they thought the manager was rubbish. So they fired the manager that got them to win the Conference League, and they got them up the table. And because the brand of football wasn't up to the fans' liking, Sullivan got rid of him, and now they're rubbish. And you can't, like, David Moyes isn't a good coach. Let's be honest. But he's a bang average for the Premier League. If he's achieving higher, which he was at West Ham, that means the standard of the Premier League has come down. Okay. If the standard of the Premier League has come down, and your bang average manager is now winning the Conference League and doing something with the club, maybe you can give him a couple more players and he might learn to coach and play expansive football because he doesn't have to worry about getting relegated. He can actually try to push on and develop a team. Maybe believe in your manager. Maybe help him out and not just fire him and move him on. That would be utter madness. There's another. What was I talking about? There's another topic I wanted to cover. Oh yeah, Forest. The Forest. I do want to talk about the Forest a little bit. I was talking about this yesterday on the live stream on the Forest fan channel, and I think in 10 games, Ange, I want to put my my little stamp on it and tell you where he's going to be. But I'm going to give him 10 games because there's a lot for him to sort of work with at Nottingham Forest. The more you think about Nottingham Forest and can they play Ange ball, makes me think, yeah, they can. They can. They work hard, Forest do. Every one of their players is in for a fight. They've got good team chemistry. They'll work for a cause, but will they work for Ange? And you'll know that in 10 games. You'll be able to see that whether or not they're actually buying into what he's doing or not buying into what he's doing. And I think they just had more shots on goal in the last game than they've had in the last 4 games or something ridiculous. So if they start getting results, I think there's a possibility they could do well there. My first thought was Ange is going to get them relegated. That was my first thought. He'll do great in the cup, but he'll get them relegated. And if you ask it, Marinakis, if he can, Ange can win the Europa League and then get relegated, he'd probably take it. And win silverware within 2 years, everywhere he goes. Love it. I love the arrogance. Love it. I was so upset. Yeah, he'll win the championship next season. No, he won't. He couldn't win the championship. Yeah. He couldn't win the championship. I was disappointed with Nottingham Forest not making it into the Champions League, though. I so wanted them in there. So wanted them to annoy people in the Champions League and just, with their brand of football, working hard and counter-attacking on you. I thought it was going to be a joy just to, the foreign teams just getting wound up by this little Nottingham Forest team of like, we can't beat them. Oh, I don't understand. They're not doing things the way I want them to do it. It's not fair. Oh, yeah, your defence is now rubbish. It is. It is. Well, but we'll see. We'll see. Yeah, Championship is harder than the. Oh yeah, 100%. Championship's hard. 100%. Yeah, I think Ange won't last the season, but I'll know in 10 games. Like in 10 games, I'll be able to give you a really good analysis and go, right, this is what's going to happen. I wasn't going to, but I was kind of bullied on the Arsenal fan channel. They're making me care about a team a little bit, so I'm going to have to do it. Did anyone notice that leak at Old Trafford? Everybody notices the leak at Old Trafford. Everybody notices that, buddy. It's kind of hilarious. It's but Old Trafford aren't a football club; they're a brand. So I explain this to people because of my friends at Nike, right? And it is called Nike. I've got a story about that. Yeah, Phil Knight at Nike knows the cash. Um, Lots of people at Nike know the cash. Nike's not a sports company; it's a branding company. They don't manufacture or make anything. Everybody else makes it, and Nike brand it. Manchester United aren't a football club anymore. They're just a branding company. They don't play good football. They just do what they do and they brand it. Old Trafford is falling down, falling down, falling. That needs to be a meme. Someone needs to be doing that. That would be a great meme. Playing that song. They are trying to redo the stadium, which I think is an utter mistake. Do you remember that goal in the Champions League semi-finals at Old Trafford? Oh, you won't, because they'll be in a new clown tent down the road. You cannot have that. I went to Old Trafford away with Luton, and I couldn't believe the state of it. Oh God, yeah. Really, Kenilworth Road's in better shape. Okay, well, you have to revitalise Old Trafford. You do not knock it down and rebuild it. If they do, Manchester United is done. Think about all the clubs that have gone, like Highbury, gone. Right, all of these places. It's just another generic stadium. Like, do you care about playing in another generic stadium? No. You care about playing in Old Trafford, St James's Park. White Hart Lane is gone. All these places are going, and all of the history and all of those players that played there go with them. And it's like even the Dell for Southampton. It was when that went. I can remember that was the first sort of big one for me when the Dell disappeared. On their fines, this stadium is not in good condition. Depends on who you're paying, doesn't it? Who writes the fine? And I don't think so anyway. It just comes down to health and safety. If it's a health and safety hazard, they'll just cordon it off and say you can't go into that area. And I don't think it's but it's Old Trafford will go down. They will build a new one because they're more about the brand of Old Trafford. Sorry, the brand of Manchester United, and not caring about the football. Even be forced to play in another ground. If you do, you'll be relegated. Yeah, well, they can do that, but it's got to be extreme for that though. So there's certain regulations where every time you jump up a division, there's more regulations for the stadiums. That's why a lot of these lower league sides don't get to move up. Okay. So if one of those sort of fundamental key things is wrong, that's when you'll play in another stadium. So for instance, like a lot of it's to do with TV and the TV rights and the TV analysis and the TV people. If they're not all happy, you'll be forced to play in a place where they are happy and they have all the technology in place. That's what it really comes down to. Because honestly, fan safety, they don't really care about. Like that won't force them to play in another location. If fan safety, an accident happens, then an inquiry, then that might make them do it. But rats, safety hazard, no. That's the fans. They don't care about those. No. As long as they don't run onto the field. If they ran onto the field and people saw it on live TV, then they'd move it. By the way, and we all saw it on live TV, and they didn't try to say that it was a small ball boy. It wasn't really a rat. Don't believe your lying eyes. Believe what we tell you. We're the sports media. Yeah. The new Old Trafford will have a massive VIP allowance. 100%. But you see, it'll be the death of United. It'll be the end of the football club. Just like the amount of history that goes and the amount of energy that Old Trafford's got. If United start winning games again and they start making it a cauldron again, well, that'd be great. But you can't get that atmosphere in a new stadium because there's no memories for it. There's no winning there. There's no, Alex Ferguson era, the new stadium. All you're going to have is bloody Ruben Amorim's 5-4-3-2-1, maybe 3-5-2-1-1 formation, and all the losses. It's not going to be. I mean, it's got no history. That's the problem with these things. That's why they have no atmosphere. If you look at like the San Siro, look at the atmosphere in the San Siro, and then go look at a Premier League game. It's night and day. It's completely different. Absolutely completely different. Was to move when the ticket prices go. Of course, the ticket prices will go up. Are you going to talk about Sunderland? The only thing I really wanted to talk about with Sunderland was about their ability to stay up. Because I haven't seen enough of them yet, and I think that they're going to stay up. That was, yeah, I do, but I haven't done the review on their game yet this weekend, and I just wanted to put them in there just because I wanted to make sure that I had it said that I think they're going to stay up. From what I've seen of them so far, I think they've got some, but it was also more about them coming up and them not being good. Don't get me wrong, they're still a championship side coming into the Premier League. It was more about all of these championship sides that have come up in the Premier League. The Premier League standard has dropped so low that all of these championship teams now that have come up look like they can stay up because the standard has dropped. It's not that these championship teams have just got miraculously suddenly better. They haven't. They're still just championship teams. Yeah, they might have got one or two extra players, but that will keep them up out of relegation maybe. Not keeping them in the top half of the table, and that's where they're sitting right now. And if that's what they're doing near the end of the season, the Premier League's quality has really, really dropped off. The rumour about the United, will there be any relegations? No, they'll never relegate the European Super League. What they'll do is they'll have a wildcard team. They'll set it up like the NFL. So that's why it's all generic sports stadiums. So it doesn't matter where you play because there's no atmosphere. It doesn't matter who you are because no one cares. Like, it's just generic football. That's what the Super League is going to be about. That's why they're all building these generic stadiums. So they've got the same capacity. It doesn't matter if you're playing at Bayern Munich or at the Etihad Stadium or wherever Tottenham play. They're all the same. They're all the same stadiums. The atmosphere is what it is. It's for tourists to come in and pay lots of money. It's not for fans. It's not for fan communities to be there and have their scarves and chanting and all that. It's not what they're looking to do. Oh, you're going to go to Sunderland Palace? Oh, yeah. Okay, that'd be brilliant. Donnarumma, I think I've heard a rumour he's on 800,000 a week, but he can't be. He can't be. Yeah, I did hear that, but he can't be. Donnarumma's a funny one as well, though. Like, I'm old. I look younger than Donnarumma. Like, how does Donnarumma look like he's in his 45, 50? And he's like 20. Oh, is he 26 now, isn't he? And he feels like he's been around for 20 years. Yeah, I might have to sort of start outlining this Super League stuff. No, not a month. No. I think he was on was he on 350 at PSG a week? 350,000? Yeah, something like that. There's no reason you don't see black goalkeepers in the Premier League. People take the best players. It's like saying, why don't we see any really good white fast wingers? Like, it's never got anything to do with race in football. Never has done. Whoever's the best gets in. Actually, that's not true. Whoever's normally the cheapest or the most marketable gets in. That's it. Absolutely it. There is a little bit of racism, I think, though, with Mo Salah. I have a feeling something's up with Mo Salah. He should have won the Ballon d'Or when he had that season. Maybe it was 2 seasons ago, and he was just brilliant. Scored God knows how many goals. Might even be 3 seasons ago now. Yeah, I think there is something up with Mo Salah because they just won't give that guy any credit whatsoever. I mean, his numbers are better than Thierry Henry's and all sorts of stuff. The guy's a legend for what he's done. Absolute legend, and he just doesn't get any praise, that guy. Oh yeah, he was playing. I know he's playing for AC Milan when he was 16. Yeah. He does feel like he's been around forever, though, doesn't he? And oh yeah, there you go. Yeah, and Anana is, but yeah. Anyway, I know a lot of black goalkeepers from Africa because we are talking about it from national teams the other day. DC, I was telling you his goalkeeping. I think his goalkeeping record for international caps still stands. That's yeah. We got into all sorts in Discord the other day. It was quite funny. So don't forget to join if you want to over there. If you want to get some topics in though, get them in the Patreon because I will try to go through those. I'm going to try to keep this show going every Monday. Well, I will keep it going every Monday. The only issue and the only little blip is I will do it through the international break. But I hate I can't stand the fact we're about to have an international break so soon. It is so annoying. It drives me mad. Absolutely mad. But other than that, boys and girls, I will say good night. Oh, what's this? If Salah deserved to win the Ballon d'Or, what about Haaland's first season? I'm not disagreeing. Well, here's the problem. Haaland didn't win the Champions League, did he? He did on that first season. But what I'm talking about is how they kind of do it at the Ballon d'Or. It's kind of this weird catty corner thing where they do like a season and a half. Intel breaking, what's going on? Who just won the Ballon d'Or? Is that what we're finding out? Jamesy, what's going on? Okay, we were going to cancel, boys, but now we're going to have to wait to see what Mr. Stones has to say. And we've been told by Matt to press the like button. Thank you, Matt. I will press the like button. I don't know how to on my own stream. I'm so bad with all this technology. It's absolutely hilarious. Like, maybe the international break, you can do more time for more interesting and. Oh, well, I'm going to cover some of the international football because there's so many good coaching points in international football generally. There's normally some really good bits. And there's so many other videos that I haven't done as well. I want to cover some around Madrid because I really want to pay attention to what Trent's doing over there with Jude Bellingham and see if it's just a bit of nonsense. Because I know Trent's injured now. He's not. Guarantee you he's not injured. They're just not picking him. That's the foreign way of saying we don't want you, son, is we're telling everyone you're injured. Standard procedure. Lie, and lie again. That is pretty common practice. Here we go. I refuse to support the nation's team. 100%. 100%. Yeah, the national team. Dude, I stopped watching. I can't remember when I stopped watching England. England to me was always, it was a fun watch. I think it was when, Lampard scored that goal in the Euros against Germany, went over the line. And I think that was the last kind of like World Cup I watched England play because after then it's just been awful. I want to be entertained. Every single one of you, just like myself, our time is valuable. We don't have enough time to do everything we want. And I'm not sitting there watching England be boring. It's just if I want a nap, I can put England on and have a nap. But other than that, not interested. Will the Russian team ever get to play? Yeah, there'll be money. Someone will pay FIFA, there'll be money. Yeah. Yeah, everybody misses them in the Champions League. Yeah. Nations team is drama. Yeah. It's just... none of it's good football. It is just a media circus. It's about everyone patting each other on the back, and it doesn't mean a damn thing. Like, everyone qualifies for the World Cup. Yay! Like, pretty much anyone that can put a football team together can qualify for the World Cup now. Was it 48 teams? There's 100 and how many countries in the world? 192 countries, and I'd probably say 100 of those aren't big enough really to have football teams. They're the size of little small towns. So when you start breaking it down of who can actually put a good football team together, pretty much everybody makes the World Cup. It's like, oh my God, it's the death of football. Don't forget about yeah. Yeah, this is the other thing. Like you hear people get into all these Russia and Ukraine discussions and all of this, and it's one simple thing you never need to say to them. War's bad. There's no right side on war. There's bad people and bad people. Choosing the more bad people, still bad. You just go, no, war's stupid. Yeah, absolutely stupid. Stop it. You're killing people for no reason. And there's going to be, we'll find out in 10 years that all the reasons you're telling us that you're killing everyone for is not what you're killing each other for. It'll be for something completely different. And someone made a bunch of money out of it. That's normally what happens. Yeah, 48 teams is, yeah, it's too many. Who gives a shit about smaller countries? It sounds harsh, but you're a small country. Yep, fake wars all over the place. If you ever need to read a good book, I've probably got it. Is it right here? Is this it? There you go. You want a good book? That's what you read. War is a Racket. General Smedley D. Butler. They groomed him to be the president of the United States after the First World War, and he wouldn't do it. That teaches you everything you need to know about war in the real world, what goes on. That's his book of what happened after the First World War. Yeah, honestly, the World Cup's not for the smaller countries. Like, it's the reason why, like, Senegal's players like Zidane and everyone slipped over to France. There's different things that people did because you're playing the best of the best. All those smaller countries should have the opportunity to qualify, and you're done. Or what I would do is go, we're going to have World Cup number 2, and you get to go play over there with all the small countries, and it's a population cap. Say, however 10 million population cap, and you can have your own World Cup, and you sit all over there, and a population cap, all of those players get to play an opportunity. I guarantee you a lot of those games will be better than the bloody World Cup that we watch anyway. No, not going to happen. 16 teams. Yes, yeah, I'm with you. 16 teams. Space it out. Let everyone watch every game. 16 teams. Have the qualifications done properly. I'm telling you, you can make things so much better. Have actual competitive brackets. Have Argentina, Brazil, Germany, and Spain in one bracket. There you go. Bump. Oh my God, what do we do? We'd watch every one of those games. Every one would be a semi-final game. We'd all watch it. It would be brilliant. Instead, we're going to play Iran for no reason and Qatar for no reason. Where if you gave them their own little, well, you couldn't do it with Iran because their population's too big, but you could with Qatar. Gave them a mini World Cup over here with smaller nations. Yeah, it'd be better for them. So much better. World Cup is just the Premiership, top 4 sort of thing. Well, did you see the Australian lady coming out? She was talking about the bid for Australia in the World Cup and how corrupt football is. Because football's corrupt. I don't know if you knew that. And she was talking about how many bids she thought she had for the World Cup, and they told her she had 11. Turned out that Qatar won the bid, and they were like, well, Qatar bought the World, and explained it all. Like, bought all the votes, went down to all of them, just bought all the votes, and just went, there you go. Yeah, all a joke. All a joke. What's up, John? How you doing, buddy? I'm about to jump off, John. You just missed me. But I am going to go over into Discord in about 10 minutes. If you pop over into there and see me over there, join in for a chat. And I'll see you next time, boys and girls, on Cash Talks Football. Oh, what the last? Well, sorry, you're making me. Yeah, sorry, you're making me looking, John. Sorry, I keep calling you John Stones instead of James Stones. That's just funny, right? Yeah, 100% it was fixed for Messi. 100%. We all knew it. Everyone knew it. Yeah, you like the narrative sometimes is so obvious. Give Messi a World Cup. Yeah, it's so funny. It's so funny. Damn work again, John. Go in there. Tell him what's what. But all right, guys. I'm going to try and grab a drink of water because my throat's dying and I've got to get off this foot. I can't even sit and put pressure on it down like this. It hurts too much. So I'll see you in a bit. If you're joining us in Discord, you can find the link in Patreon. There's 2 links, by the way. There's one that some people said was a bit funny and they couldn't use. There's another individual link. DC knows the one. Yeah. Come in there. We'll catch up and we'll talk in Discord. See you in a little bit, guys. And I'll see you next time on Cash Talks Football.